You know what grinds my gears? Charizard. And not just every Charizard, but specifically Ash's Charizard. Ash was about to win the Indigo League, and then Nope decides to go and lay down and get Ash disqualified. What a jerk. And you know what? His Charmeleon was a jerk. What's up with all that? I mean, I guess we get an explanation in the anime episode. At that time in the anime, Ash had the Soul Badge, and Charmeleon didn't even respect him, and then when it evolved to Charizard, even with all 8 badges, that wasn't even enough. What is going on here? Alright. Let's see if we can figure out what has tilted me since my entire childhood. What really happened with Ash's Charizard? Maybe there's some hints in what happened with the anime episode, because something very strange happened, that Ash only had Charmeleon for 2 full episodes. So yeah, Charmander evolves during the Exeggutor episode, gets wrecked in the Paris episode, doesn't do much with Jigglypuff, and then evolves when it comes to fossil Pokemon. So a very short episode span to get to Charizard, which means maybe it's possible that Charmander overleveled during the Exeggutor episode, because that was a lot of Exeggutor that Charmander defeated. That's actually what got me going with this theory. I was rewatching the episode a couple nights ago and I said, wait a second, what if Charmeleon was like level 70 or something because of all the Exeggutor it defeated? Is that even possible? And then after that, it started getting more and more experience as evolved Charizard, therefore it just wouldn't be a tameable Pokemon. So when watching the episode, yeah, that's a lot of Exeggutor that Charmander ends up taking down to evolve. Now, I'm going to count these as experience gained victories. Like, sure, it doesn't just KO every single Exeggutor, but they end up running away, and I guess we can count that as a victory since Charmander evolves afterwards, so it absorbs some kind of experience. However, when you look at it, there's no more than like 24 Exeggutor on screen at any time. When they loop through the valley, it kind of gives us a scale as to how many there are, but there's only like 25 on screen, maybe 1 or 2 cycles, so somewhere between like 50 and 100 Exeggutor were involved with this, so that means there really wasn't enough Exeggutor to give Charmander that much experience, right? Let's go a little deeper into it. According to red, blue, and yellow versions, you cannot capture Exeggutor at any point, so you need to evolve Execute. Well, the only place you can find an Execute is in the Safari Zone, and in the Safari Zone, Execute only has between like 24 and 25 levels. Now, this is where things start to get a little awkward, because in the episode, we watch Execute just evolve. There's no Leaf Stone, it just evolves because it wants to evolve for its trainer, and then wild Pokemon are also pretty crazy. Sometimes, wild Pokemon can be found under the level that they evolve at, but also they can just be found over the level they're supposed to evolve at as well. So, maybe we can go somewhere between like level 25 and 30, because also in the Safari Zone there's Parasect. And in the next episode, it deals with Paras that ends up evolving into a Parasect, so maybe level 30-ish as well. So after that, I found an experience calculator to find out how much experience we would get from each Exeggutor. Now, I just said, you know, base Execute, maybe it evolved level 25-ish, 26-ish, so somewhere around 1,000 experience points per Exeggutor defeated. Now, these technically count as trained as well, that a wild Pokemon gives less experience than trained. However, these Exeggutor, they were captured during the episode in a massive amount, so that's why I'm saying, you know, there could be 100, but I think saying hundreds is quite a stretch. So now we need to pull up a table of the experience growth of a Pokemon like Charmander. Now, all starter Pokemon fall in the medium-slow experience range, and for Charmander to evolve in Charmeleon, it needs to be level 16. So that means Ash's Charmander was somewhere in the 13 to 15-ish range. I don't think it was that itching to evolve, because it does kind of take down a couple of Exeggutor, and it's on that final push that it gets enough experience to finally evolve, unless it all counts as one battle. Either way, it was only hovering around a couple thousand experience at that point to not evolved in Charmeleon yet, and even if it was over-leveled around level 20 but still not ready to evolve, it's not a lot of experience. Now, Charmeleon evolves into Charizard at level 36, so if we look at the table for around level 36 to 37, it's about 40,000 experience, with about 1,000 experience gained per Exeggutor fainted. So I feel at the lowest mark, there's probably around 40 to 50 Exeggutor, so there was more than enough experience to cause Charmeleon to evolve, or for Charmander to get a high enough level to evolve into a Charizard, which makes a lot of sense, because after knocking out Paris, that's just a couple of experience points, and even over level 30, that's not going to be enough to cause Charmeleon to evolve into a Charizard off of just a weak little victory off of a Paris. So things are starting to line up. But what about more levels, more experience, more Exeggutor, something like that, because Charmeleon must have gained an insane amount of experience to get so close to evolving into Charizard, and then not be able to obey Ash. So I wanted to go all the way up to like the level 50s, and this is where things start getting a little more interesting, because yeah, by the time you're hitting level 53, that's 141,000. It's hard to envision over 100 Exeggutor being in that area, and even more than that. So I would say the highest bet is, you know, around 100-ish being KO'd, so that means that the Charmeleon landed in a range between 36 to 50 on the levels is what I would say. So let's go and actually look up something, because here's an interesting point that I wanted to note as well. I feel like people that are watching this video would say, but Charmander should have just always obeyed Ash because it's his Pokemon, but we have to remember Damien, because Damien's so cool that he just throws away his Pokemon when he doesn't think they're strong enough. Well, that means that this is not Ash's Pokemon. Technically, it had another trainer first, so that's where the disobedience can come into play. Also, maybe Charmander, you know, it's a little scarred from having such an abusive trainer like Damien, because it just threw him out onto a rock to die. So maybe that's also why, when evolving, some of those emotions might just transfer over into the disobedience. This still doesn't make any sense, because even though the Soul Badge doesn't matter for, like, the Pokemon leveling, Ash had the Marsh Badge. That Pokemon up to level 70 should be able to obey, and there's no way that Charmeleon was level 70. To break level 70, that means about 500 Exeggutor need to have been taken out at that point. I just don't see that happening. You know, maybe 200 tops, but I don't see anything pushing that Charmander over level 70 because of the Marsh Badge. And then it hit me, guys. Ash never earned the Marsh Badge. Think about it. With that battle, Sabrina ended up losing because of a forfeit, since she was unable to battle because Haunter was making her laugh so much, which ruined, like, psychic capabilities and all that fun stuff right there. There was at no point where Ash actually defeated Sabrina, so maybe the badges go deeper than just owning them. Like, oh, if someone just gives you a badge, like, hey, say Sabrina was feeling nice, just hand your free badge, you know, drops in your pocket. That doesn't mean you're a skilled enough trainer to beat her, and that's kind of what happened, because even when you break it down, it's arguable that Haunter was even in the possession. Like, remember, one of the lines from the anime was that, I don't know if Ash is controlling Haunter, or if Haunter is the one controlling Ash. It was something like that. So, you know, Ash didn't even own Haunter, and that was even shown in the episode. Haunter gets, like, you know, gets freaked out by Sabrina and leaves because Ash doesn't have enough experience to even control Haunter at that point. So Haunter just kind of leaves, comes back, and then with a battle between Pikachu and Kadabra, nothing happens. You know, Pikachu lands a hit but doesn't faint Kadabra, and Pikachu is effectively just getting bodied harder than it did the first time, so Ash wasn't even a stronger trainer for that rematch against Sabrina. There was at no point where there was an actual defeat. And even then, it came to Sabrina's dad that's just like, I'm just gonna call it over, you know? My daughter's laughing, she's good, I want to see her happy. Here's the badge, Ash, you know? It doesn't seem like Ash did enough. He didn't prove himself as a trainer to earn the badge. Wait a second. He didn't even do that for the Rainbow Badge, because I was looking at the list, so the Soul Badge doesn't even matter. It's a Rainbow Badge, Marsh Badge. So even if Charmeleon was in that high 40s range to fall under the obedience of the Rainbow Badge, doesn't matter. Ash just ran into a burning building. That's it. Even if it was like level 36 or something like that, there still would have not been any way for Charmeleon to be obedient, because, yeah, Erica's like, oh, you saved my favorite Pokemon, here's a Rainbow Badge. Even though it can be argued that Ash could have won that battle, he did not. He did not earn the battle. The transaction of the badge was just over going into a burning building, which shows a lot of passion as a trainer, but doesn't show any skill as a trainer, so he didn't even earn that. Also, another thing of note is that even though Ash got the Mankey into Primeape as a wild Primeape, Primeape's still a very disobedient Pokemon. Ash was going to use it against Erica, but decided not to because it's still a pretty wild Pokemon. So Ash's inexperience as a trainer shows, and then he doesn't even earn the badge that could have maybe given him respect with the oh my god, I just realized Ash didn't even earn the Cascade badge. So even if Charmeleon was in a lower level stage for evolution, it can still be argued that Ash didn't earn the Cascade badge, and that might not have even mattered because, yeah, he blew up Team Rocket's machine. Team Rocket interrupted the battle, then at the end of it, Misty's sister just came in and was like, here, just have the badge. They don't even care. Misty's sisters were just handing out badges to anyone. They just offered, like, hey, we're, like, lazy and we don't want to, like, do anything, so, like, here, have the badge. It's cool, yo. That kind of shows that there was something up right there, and maybe Ash didn't even earn the Cascade badge. Now, the thing is, Charmander still obeyed Ash, but maybe that's because of the act that Ash did to save Charmander. That, as a Charmander, very grateful, but then it gained such a high amount of experience. It leveled up, it evolved in such a short amount of time that that respect was kind of forgotten through the ferocity of evolution or something like that. And then that just kind of shows that, oh my god, I just realized, Ash didn't even earn the Earth Badge. So now it makes sense as to why Charizard wasn't even obedient in the league, because it was Team Rocket. Ash beats Team Rocket all the time. They were just kind of thrown in as stand-ins for the badge, and technically, there was like no transaction between the gym leader and Ash receiving the badge. That Team Rocket was cheating. Yes, Ash defeated Team Rocket, but the stage blew up and then the badge fell into Ash's hands. So, and it wasn't even the official gym leader. No, Gary lost to crazy Mewtwo that Giovanni had, but Giovanni didn't beat Ash. And even in the first Pokemon movie, we see Giovanni take down many trainers, including Gary. So to actually have the power of gaining an Earth badge in under its rightful means, Ash didn't have that. A lot of trainers don't have that, but Ash still ended up with the Earth badge, which means maybe that's why it didn't even give the all Pokemon obedience, which kind of sucks. And then another thing is, I think Ash maybe could have bluffed it. You know, Charmander was obedient. Why not Charmeleon? Well, in the first battle with Charmeleon, Charmeleon was already showing signs of being disobedient towards Ash. Go easy on it. That is where you screwed up, because if there was any respect that Charmeleon had towards Ash, that was probably it. First battle, I'm evolved, I'm hype, I'm strong right now. Oh, you gotta lose this one to a Paris. And then in a total act of disobedience, that's where Charmeleon strikes out. And then the rest of that episode, Ash just shows weakness as a trainer in almost every aspect. No, go easy on it. We had to lose on purpose. And then just letting Charmeleon do whatever it wants to do instead of trying to step in and actually forcefully show Charmeleon that Ash is a strong enough trainer to control it. So I feel that that's kind of where everything fell apart. And after that, evolved in Charizard, even less respect. Just lets Ash down during the Indigo League, and then it kind of gets a little better from there, because there is the episode where Ash has to take care of Charizard after losing a battle, and maybe that's where kind of like all the disobedience falls into play. In Charizard Chills, that's where Ash loses the battle and Charizard gets completely frozen, almost dies because its tail is about to go out, and then Charizard learns, hey, this guy, he wants the best for me, he can take care of me, remembers all the good times of being a Charmander, and how Ash effectively did the same thing, just trying to nurse it back to health, making sure that Charmander was going to be okay. Also, now that I'm thinking about it, you know, that Charmander did have a little bit of disobedience as well. Attacked Damien when he decided to let Ash become his trainer. So yeah, this Charmander into Charizard has had quite a wild streak, but finally Ash was able to win it over because of just showing that carrot. And this is also into the Orange Islands as well, that Ash had more experience as a trainer, did do pretty well in the Indigo League, so maybe all of that building up finally got Ash enough experience as a trainer to be able to tame Charizard after that good act of taking care of it, showing that, hey, Ash is powerful enough to nurse me, a Charizard of such strength and such power back to health. So maybe he's all right after all. So it seems like the conclusion did end up pretty well, and then we go into Johto and then the Charific Valley, and then crazy things happen from there. But I think that kind of shows it. I feel like maybe since Ash didn't earn the badges, I'm wondering if I have a question for Masuda. I don't even know if Masuda's involved with that. I have a question for just like Game Freak. I want to go up to Satoshi Tajiri and be like, was this all planned? Because it seems like now that we're almost 20 years later, this makes a lot of sense. And it was hiding in plain sight. You know, Ash never earned the badges that were crucial to obedience. His Charizard was disobedient because it came from another trainer. And was there any specific reason why? You know, not just some old hag saying, you need to be more experienced. Well, he never even earned what determines experience in Pokemon. So I think that's pretty crazy. So guys, enjoy the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.